Hi, welcome to episode 5. We're going to be doing part 2 chat with Danny about his encounters straight after this. About some of his encounters. Before we crack on with that, just want to say hello to some of the listeners, or all of the listeners. So we've got 21 states in America, so I'll read them all out. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Colorado, Arizona, Hawaii, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, all right that time, Florida, Illinois, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. And then the other parts of the world. So we've got 30 new listeners in the UK, 1 in Sweden, and 1 in New Zealand. So hello, everyone, and thank you so much for listening and subscribing. So we'll crack on with this now. So
awesome.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so thanks for having me back on, guys. So I did sort of say last week that we'd obviously come back on and give you a couple of more little bits that I've experienced, or that other people that I know close to me have experienced. So the first one, just going back into, obviously just reminding ourselves what happened last week. I was talking about ESP.
Yeah.
And getting those messages when my dad had a car accident. I actually saw my mum today. So I saw my mum today. I told her about the podcast that I did last week. She seemed really keen about it, so she listened to that this afternoon. So I don't know if she's made a comment on there. She said she was going to make a comment, but she listened to that.
I've not looked, to be honest.
She watched the YouTube video this afternoon. Yeah. But yeah, when we were in the car today, I reminded her about what happened and my dad's accident in the Belmont. And I just wanted to sort of just for my sake, because we hadn't spoke about it for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me just ask her, like, just to doubly check and make sure everything.
Her version.
Yeah, her version. And I did, and she just confirmed to me that when she got in, she already knew that she was at Tesco, and she already knew that he had had an accident.
Yeah.
She just left everything and sort of came home. And she does remember it pretty much the same as I've told it. Yeah. But she also added on as well that she knew, because I said that he had two accidents.
Yeah.
The first one was a really bad one where I was sitting on the stairs and I didn't say goodbye to him.
Yeah.
And then the second one was where I was at the fair. The first one that year, my mum said I think it was either in the January or the February that year, she had a couple of dreams where she knew that my dad was going to have an accident, a bad accident.
Really?
Yeah, she said to me today in the car, she goes, "Oh yeah," she goes, "Did you talk about this?" And I said, "No." I said, "I completely forgot that you'd said that." So she actually had 2 dreams.
Yeah.
Basically like a premonition dream that my dad would have a bad car accident. But she said in the dreams she didn't see the result. She said she saw my dad getting out the car,
Yeah.
trying to walk away from the car, but she didn't know the result, whether he lived or died or anything like that. And she did actually, and when she was telling me, I was like, oh yeah, I completely forgot about this. She told my dad that year. She was like, Errol, I've had a couple of dreams where you're going to have a bad car accident. And my dad was just like, yeah, obviously, whatever. Because who wants to be told that you're going to be in a bad car accident? But yeah, that actually happened as well. So I thought I'd add that on because obviously that adds into the whole.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, adds into the whole weirdness. But yeah, a couple of dreams adding that on is I forgot about that. So yeah, shouts to my mum for mentioning that today.
Cool. I'll have to get your mum on.
I did ask her today. I said, "Would you ever want to come on this?" She's like, "I don't know. I don't think she would. I think she'd be a little bit panicked, even though she'd be absolutely fine."
Do you know what? It's just like chatting on the phone to one of your mates.
Yeah.
When I did my first interviews with BBR, I was sat there. I could have built an house. I was that nervous. I think it wasn't until probably the third interview that I actually felt at ease doing it. And that's why I thought, why don't I start doing this? For other people that haven't, like yourself, that haven't shared the story with anyone, or you've not been able to tell anybody because of like non-believers, ridicule, and all that kind of stuff. Everyone needs somewhere to be able to tell stuff that's happened to them.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's the main reason why. Because I've had loads of experiences, different stuff, and some of them I've still not told people about them yet. I'm gonna save them for a rainy day, I think.
Save them for like podcasts 6, 7, and 8, maybe.
That's I probably will do a podcast of my own stuff, but I don't want it to be about me, if you know what I mean. That's why I'm bringing other people.
You've got to have an episode about your own experiences. It's your channel.
Oh yeah, but just see what happens. See how it goes.
I'll interview you.
Yeah, you two could interview each other.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Funny. Right. So anyway, Danny, do you want to crack on with your?
Yeah, can do. So this next one that I'm about to share isn't my experience. I just want to make it clear that it's not my experience, but it is something that my partner has experienced.
Yeah.
And obviously, I believe him. It's it's a legitimate thing. So my partner's from America.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to mention any names. Let's just call him Fred. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just say Fred.
Yeah, I know his name anyway, so I'm going to say out.
You do. So
very American.
It's like the least American name, isn't it? Where am I going? Maybe we should. What? I'm trying to think of a stereotypical American name. Oh,
John
Tyler.
Doe.
How about Tyler?
Yeah, it could do.
Tyler's quite a traditional American name. I don't want to offend any Americans that are named Tyler that they think their name's stereotypical, but
just before you carry on,
the
guy who was on the podcast who sorts it all out.
Yeah.
No, he's
not.
So if you watch, I don't think he watches it. I think he just puts it onto the platforms.
Well, we'll see. He might go on there and make a comment about it. But yeah, Tyler's a good name. I'm not saying it's a bad name. I suppose it's a bit like Dave over here. But anyway, yeah, we're getting kind of sidetracked over here. This one's not like ESP or anything like that, but it is a bit more. I would probably say a bit more sort of paranormal.
Yeah.
Possibly based. I don't know. I guess we'll see in a second. But so, Tyler's mum was very poorly. So she had cancer for a very long time. They lived in South Carolina, basically lived on a trailer park.
Right.
Quite a nice trailer park, mind you. Quite fancy. Double wide trailers. All the mod cons and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she was really poorly for a number of years, and in the final couple of months, she was at home getting like palliative care. She was in and out of comas. It's pretty grim, really pretty grim state of affairs. But she had. I need to stop saying all the time.
Don't
She
worry.
had.
It's fine.
She had a little buzzer that she would like ring whenever she came in and out of consciousness.
Yeah.
Because she was basically sedated for most of this time frame.
Right.
She passed away, and a couple of weeks after. Yeah, so Tyler had a roommate as well. Tyler's roommate was called Matt.
Yeah.
And they all lived there together. I sadly never met Tyler's mum. Right. Because this was literally 2 or 3 months before I met Tyler. Right. She passed away. About 2 weeks later, she was actually living in the bigger room. Matt wanted to go into the bigger room, and Tyler wanted Matt to go into the bigger room because that's what you do, isn't it? If somebody moves out, you're sort of Bagsy in the bigger room because it's a bigger room in the house. Matt didn't want to go into the bigger room because he was like, oh no, it's going to be haunted. She passed away in there. He was a bit freaked out by it. And then so 2 weeks later, this is after she'd passed. They were packing up all of the stuff. Most things were in boxes. Obviously, they didn't do that straight away. Yeah. And Tyler and Matt were in the living room watching TV, and they heard the buzzer go off. They heard the bell go off.
Really?
This was the buzzer that she used to press.
Yeah.
So then it went off. They both sort of looked at each other like,
what the hell?
Oh, well, I think the way Tyler explained it to me is that he was just thinking, oh, it must be leaning against something or something must have fallen over. Yeah. But then it went off again. And then when they went into the room to have a look where the buzzer was, because it was a buzzer that it didn't have batteries or anything like that.
Right.
It was plugged into the wall.
Yeah.
But when Tyler went into the room, it was he opened up one of the boxes and it was sitting on the top of the box with nothing else resting on it, and it was completely unplugged. So wow. the buzzer went off twice. They both heard it.
Yeah.
And after pretty much immediately after that, Matt left the house, didn't want to come back because he was already thinking that it was haunted completely. And obviously this happening was just compounded those matters. So he was like, I'm gone. I'm not coming back for a bit. But Tyler basically felt like it was like residual energy and feeling like his mum was basically just saying goodbye. That was her way of
letting him know that she was still around. So
because this was 2 weeks afterwards. Everything was all packed up.
Yeah.
But so that was that was pretty much that. So I don't know what would you call that? What is that? Do you think?
Don't know. The thing is, with it not being plugged in, there's no power getting to it. So there must be an energy source coming from somewhere. And everything's made up of energy, whether it's, alive or not.
Yeah, that's what we thought as well.
Yeah, even inanimate objects are made up of energy.
Well,
everything's got like a 0 point energy, or everything emits something, especially at the quantum level. There's always some sort of movement of particles. So even solids aren't always a solid, essentially, are they?
No, they're all like millions of molecules and what have you.
Yeah, at the quantum level, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, no, you just made remember something a bit ago. When I first moved in with Becky, we'd fell asleep on the sofa downstairs. It's quite similar, but without nobody died. So, but we fell asleep on the sofa, and the iPad was charging on the floor. It was either on the floor or on the other chair, and it was like about 2 o'clock in the morning, and it come up. Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. You know, it goes on the iPad. It goes beep beep.
Yeah.
So someone must have been trying to ask it something for it to do that, and it happened about 3 or 4 times that night. I turned it off. Couldn't cope.
What?
It just said, sorry,
That's
don't.
insane.
So do the beep beep. I've not got an iPad or iPhone anymore. I've turned to Android. But yeah, it was whenever you ask Siri something and it didn't understand it, that was its reply.
That's the standard
TV
reply,
was
yeah.
off. We both fell asleep. Even if one of us was snoring, it wouldn't, because you've got to actually say, "Hey Siri," for it to do
Yeah,
it.
in order for it to get a command out of it, so it says something back to you.
Yeah. So it did
Nuts.
that. It just reminded me of that. So I don't know what that was. Similar sort of thing.
Yeah, I've had Alexa do some pretty weird stuff as
My
well.
tablet just went off then when you said that.
Yeah. Oh, what when I said it? Yeah, probably going to go off. I'm not going to say. I'm surprised that mine hasn't gone off as well, because even when I'm downstairs in the cellar and the A word is upstairs, and normally when you say it, it's just so sensitive. It's so sensitive. Yeah. But yeah, Alexa's done that a couple of times.
Really?
We've been watching, and this was during Halloween.
Yeah.
And I think we were recently reading up about people talking about online saying, "Oh yeah, my Alexa's doing weird things and making noises and all that kind of stuff." And we're like, "Yeah, that hasn't happened to us yet." There was that whole thing about the red ring of death as well, and it would say random things. Well, we had one where it was just laughing, and it just randomly laughed just a couple of times. And this was whilst it was like, because all during Halloween,
on fire and throwing it outside.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird, but we just put it down to some sort of glitch, or maybe it was having a bit of a laugh and a joke. Maybe they did try and program it to.
You never know.
Do something like that during Halloween. But while we were watching a movie, and it just started giggling, like it was a maniacal laugh. It wasn't like ha ha ha. It was like ha 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 ha.
Laughing clown sort of thing.
Yeah, not even in the normal Alexa, hello, how can I help you voice. It was a like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, I've just turned the microphone off on mine because I've got the Alexa ball, the new one, that has the time on the front. I've just I thought I'll press it just in case it does start chatting or someone says something.
Yeah, I think we've probably the amount of times I've said it, it's probably set somebody's off right now.
Oh, it will be
whilst they're listening.
Will be doing when this goes out. They'll be going off everywhere.
Isn't it?
No, so that was it with the iPad. It happened. Like I said, probably happened about 3 or 4 times that night. I was like, I'm turning it off. Don't care. So
that's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Because there's no one else. There's nobody else about. That was the thing. All the kids were in bed. So, and even if they'd shouted downstairs, they still wouldn't have been able to activate it. It was. I'd say it was about 4 foot away from nearest point to me, which was my feet.
Was the TV on or anything like that?
No, nothing.
Nothing else on.
I mean, when you just can't be bothered going to bed. It's like Friday or Saturday night. I thought, no, we'll just chill on the sofa. Like you used to back in the day when you're younger. Oh, so we just passed out on the sofa basically. And then it went off. I kind of woke up a little bit, so I remember it. Second time we both woke up. Third and fourth time we're both like, what is going on? Is that I'm turning it off. I get it.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
I don't know what that was about. Not gonna play it. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder then, Danny.
No, mate.
No, it just reminded me when you said about that, like with the intercom buzzer thing.
Yes, I mean, I think, obviously I can't speak about it too much because it didn't happen to me. But, Tyler isn't the type of person to be making that kind of stuff up. And I did speak to him earlier while we were having dinner a minute ago, and just sort of making sure I got all the details of the story, like, you know, accurate. But yeah, again, he just sort of said he just felt it was some sort of residual energy.
Did he feel anything at the time? Did he tell you?
No, I did ask, but no, he didn't. He didn't say he felt anything in particular.
Any smells?
No, nothing like that. It was just completely. Yeah, they were just watching TV, just doing something around the house, and it just went off twice. Yeah. And they both heard it, because in my mind I kept thinking, oh, maybe you just heard it because that was a sound that you would used to be hearing at least, you know, plenty of times a week. Because she used to wake up and, you know, ask for a cigarette or ask for whatever, and you know. So yeah, and it wasn't like so he said it wasn't a bell, it was more of a buzzer, like not a harsh buzzer, but like a soft kind of thing.
Like an intercom.
Essentially, yeah. But it wasn't like a harsh sounding one, but it was a gentle sounding,
like pretty subtle. Yeah, the thing is, with it going off twice, once, then it could be just hearing it or coincidence. It's just a bit of life still in the bit you plug in.
Yeah, because you do. If I plugged in my charger to my phone a minute ago, and it popped up and went ding, but there wasn't any energy coming through to the plug, so it stayed on for like 3 seconds and then went off again. I was like, I need to plug it in. Yeah,
you still keep a bit in the plug and the wire.
Yeah.
But for it to go off twice, did he say how far apart between each one? The time?
No, it didn't actually. But it did. I think it would have been twice in fairly quick succession.
Within 30 seconds, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think the way he was explaining it, it would have been like within. It wasn't like ding, and then, you know, later on in the day it did it again. It was within quick succession.
Well, the thing is,
almost purposeful.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you're saying that, you have to press. It's like the door, but we've got a plug-in doorbell. So we've got a doorbell at the front, and we've got one plug-in upstairs, one downstairs. So you have to press one part for it to go to the receiver, for it to make a noise.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to travel from the buzzer to the receiver. So it must have been being pressed.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. This one didn't even have. It was literally just a straight button, and it wasn't a.
So I'm guessing. Sorry, can I say? So
I'm
guessing there is two parts to it. You got the button that you press, and then.
I think this was literally just one. I think it was just one. Yeah, so it was just a power cord going to a buzzer on the end, which was next to the bed, so she could. It was there, so it could be moved around, and normally it would probably be like laid on a lap or something like that.
So how long do you reckon it had been unplugged for?
It'd been unplugged for 2 weeks.
Right. So pretty much from the day she passed to.
Well, I don't. Well, actually, that's probably not accurate, because they started packing stuff up, you know, a little bit later.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would have been straight away, but I think it probably would have been at least, you know, a good couple of days.
Yeah.
Even if but the thing is, even if it was like, you know, that it was half an hour.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be doing that, essentially. But this was in a box, and it was at the top of a box. So I'm guessing it was a good couple of days, because they'd obviously packed stuff up. And when Tyler went in there to go and have a look and find out where it was, he was just like, "Oh, it's just at the top. It's in the top of the box."
Next question: was that where they put it in the box? Does he know? So when he was packing it away, was that where he'd placed it?
Yeah, it was put there.
Right. No, I just wondered if it had been moved or anything.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't moved. It was literally just placed in that box. Yeah, it was just placed in the box. It was just sitting at the top of the box, as in like, with other stuff in it, but nothing that would be leaning on it, or nothing that I don't think it was. I think it's probably just like books and stuff.
Did he try pressing it himself afterwards?
Good question. I don't know. Actually, I didn't ask about that.
Just to see if there was still any energy left inside it.
I don't know. I'll ask.
But I think if you See, I don't know what I'd do in that situation. Like I said, with the iPad, I just turned it off. I won't even go in there. But with a buzzer, I might just like try giving it a quick press and seeing what it did.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
I don't think I'd like to find out, to be honest.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, but I think his reaction was, you know,
Yeah.
I think he just felt like he knew that was, or that's what he put it down to. His mum just kind of saying goodbye, or
giving him a what's it called? I forgot the word. Just like communicating with him.
yeah,
Because like
Just-
you were saying, that's how she used to communicate. That was her way of getting his attention.
yeah. So it would have been
that
nice.
makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense.
Whereas Matt, he completely flipped out and was like, "Yo, I'm leaving."
So, do you know when you were saying about it, was they having the conversation about Matt moving into that room as it happened?
No, I don't think so. But for that couple of weeks period,
Yeah.
Tyler wanted him to take the room because it was just, there was stuff all over the house. So it was kind of like, just go and move your stuff in there, because then we'll be able to sort of have it. You'll be able to have your
all
room.
your stuff is
we
in there.
can sort out the rest of the mess in the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just didn't want it. But I think it was a constant conversation for that period of time.
Right.
But I don't know whether it was like at that moment. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to
I'm
ask.
just wondering if they was actually talking about the room and then his mum interacts with him.
Oh my god, that would have been even worse, wouldn't it? Because you imagine that.
I don't know what I'd do. I'd leg it out of the house and just keep running forever.
Yeah, my god.
Don't know. I'd be proper cacking myself.
But yeah, no, I don't think it. I don't think it was. But yeah, I think it was a constant conversation.
Yeah.
And they were both fairly close to her and both supporting her during that last bit. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, weird one.
Interesting. So, do you want to carry on with any more, or Ryan, have you got any questions?
Not really, mate. I mean, he's pretty much said. I enjoyed listening to it, to be honest with you.
You can subscribe to the podcast, you know.
Yeah, like, subscribe, comment.
But no, mate. So paranormal. I mean, I'm the same as you. I haven't really had much experiences with them, so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm more of I like exploring tunnels, anything that's that looks adventurous.
Get you into trouble.
Bit of an Indiana Jones type. Love mysteries and but no. Can you see? Have you ever seen them? Ghosts, or any spirit, any energy that's sort of like, Danny and you.
Danny.
Or do you feel that there's a presence there? And you know where? Do you know what I mean? Don't you?
Yeah. Who are you asking?
Well, I'll ask Danny first, and then I'll ask you.
Right.
Okay. For me, I'm not sure that I felt anything like that. I feel like I've had moments where things couldn't be explained, a bit like what I talked about last week. But there's nothing that I felt where I felt like there's a presence in the room. I've had tons of situations of deja vu, and during those times, it's felt more than deja vu. It's felt like I have actually done this before, or maybe I've dreamt about that moment, like I've dreamt it and that happening. But often I would just put that down to, because deja vu is really, my understanding about sort of having something that's kind of repetitive. Like, you do a task over and over again to the point where, when you're doing that task over and over again, you're like, oh, I feel like I've done this before. Yeah, because you probably have done it before.
Yeah.
On the last shift.
Yeah.
But
But I just, I've never felt any kind of presence I've never felt any kind of presence or anything like that, paranormal wise. I don't think so anyway.
See, now I have had most of my encounters have been, I'd say, ghost, spirit, apparitions, whatever you want to call it, voices. I've had loads like that, but I'm going to save them for another one. Tease all the listeners. But there is one, when you said about deja vu, I always remember this, is where I was working the company last, and I was over in the Athletic in Bedfordshire, and it was early morning. I was listening to Radio 1 Breakfast Show when Nick Grimshaw used to do it. I was driving down the road in the van, and it was like, from that point for the next 2 minutes, I knew everything that was going to happen. The cars a lot. I started feeling all like lightheaded and that. And then, as they were talking on the radio, I think the news or the weather came on.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's the news. And they was telling a story about something that had happened. I'm like, oh, that happened like 2.5 years ago. What are they talking about? And they were saying it happened yesterday. I'm like, no. And then the radio glitched. This is live radio.
Yeah.
And it went back about 10 seconds. And they started doing it again. It wasn't digital radio, it's just normal FM. And it's the same thing. So I lived that twice at that moment. And then up to about 2.5 years before that. And it was like, I know what happens. I know what happens in this story.
What?
And it's like, that messed my head up for days after that. I just couldn't get my head around it. So
Was anybody else with you in the car? In the van?
I was in the van. There's other cars on the road. There's like, where I was going, there's a massive, big secondary school. Do you remember when there was that chemical spill near Hampton Athletic a couple of years back, and they closed it all off? They had to evacuate loads of houses.
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
I was literally a street away from there. There's a roundabout, and there's a shell garage. Then you got a fire station, there's a chemical plant, and then there's a school. It was just around there. I can't remember the name of the road. And I was coming up from Clop Hill Way. And so Nick Grimshaw was saying whatever he was saying, and then the news came on. No, before the news came on, it glitched, and then Nick Grimshaw said the same thing again. Then this news story come on, and it's like, that happened years ago. And as he was saying it, I was saying it in my head. It only lasted about 30 seconds, not even a minute. And I used to think about it all the time.
Yeah, that is absolutely weird.
But it's kind of, do you know when you see something glitch and it goes all pixelated?
Yeah.
Right? It didn't do, visually it didn't do that, but vocally it did. So it went, I can't do the impression, so it went, then like, didn't make the rewind noise, but went back and it started again. Like, I've just done this. And I looked round me because I thought, have I gone back? But I weren't. I was still where I should have been.
So what was it? What was in the glitchy period then? So what was the bit that was repeated? There's a new story from years ago.
So Nick Grimshaw was talking, then it glitched. But saying that, everything kind of like went in front of me. But wasn't pixelated. It was a weird, I don't know what it was. I got goosebumps now. No, like right in front of my eyes. Like inside the van. And then he started saying the same thing, and then he said about this news thing. I can't remember what this story was. But this happened years ago. What are they talking about? And as I saying, I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, and so many people died, and so many people got injured, and it happened in this place, and it's like, I know all that, and as they're saying it, I'm like a couple of seconds in front.
That's so weird.
That's the worst case. not the worst. That's the one that I remember the most because I think that was the last time it ever happened. But it was just the glitching in front of me and the glitching with the sound. When I said I didn't see it, I didn't see pixels. It was like someone got something and just do that in front of you dead quick, like a lot faster than that. You can just about see it. Because that's when I've started feeling all funny. Go like all light-headed.
Oh, did you actually feel like a sensation as well when it happened?
For a split second.
You must have drove into some kind of energy field or there was summit.
I was coming up to a roundabout. There's near Millbrook, where the car test centre place is, in Bedford.
What was I see A509? Is it A509, A428?
The other side. So
Right.
actually as though you're going towards Ampthill and Flitwick between Clophill and all that. It's like
Right.
there's a shower garage. And you go Flitwick's one way, Ampthill's the other way. And it's just along there. I was coming up to a roundabout. If they'd done right, that took me to the fire station and the school. Done a left is your shower garage. Straight on takes me back towards Milton Keynes and the motorway. I can't remember where I was going, the exact area, but I just remember that. And it's always thought about it, but I've not researched it, but I've looked to see like if other people have had it. I've never found anything. I'll have come up with like deja vu, like what you were saying. But for it to glitch and go back, I just thought, oh, so we are in the Matrix. That's the only thing I can think of. And this was about 3 years ago.
Okay, so fairly recent then.
Yeah.
I've not had anything like that. When you were talking though, it did remind me of something that my auntie told me once.
Yeah.
Now my auntie's she's quite religious. I won't mention her name. We'll give her a false name. Let's call her Paula.
Yeah.
My auntie Paula was driving somewhere. She said she was really tired.
Right.
And like really, really tired, like falling asleep at the wheel. I mean, I've been tired before because I used to work in prisons up and down the country, and I've fallen asleep at the wheel like twice. Mum, if you're listening, don't be scared. It's all right. Don't worry, I'm fine.
I think we've all done it, mate.
White bumpy lines. You know when coffee doesn't even work anymore. Coffee will work for about 30 seconds. Then after that, your eyes are closing and you're dreaming. You're automatically as soon as your eyes go like that,
like split seconds.
Yeah. She said she was like that sort of.
That is the worst. I hate that.
That sort of vibe. But she said that she was heading home, absolutely really dog tired, and she didn't know, but she was just about to hit. Oh, you're phasing in and out of reality.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just getting comfy.
Yeah, she was heading home, dog tired. Now she didn't know that she was gonna have an accident because she'd fallen asleep. But what she said is that she felt what she described it was an angel slap her across the face. Now she said she felt a slap like she'd just been clapped by her mum for doing something wrong.
Really?
Like a proper across the face.
Yeah.
And she said she felt it, she moved, and then she was up and she was awake, slamming on the brakes, avoided an accident.
Wow.
But she's very religious. A lot of my family are quite religious and faith based and stuff. But yeah, she says that she felt that was like an angel's presence or something similar to that.
The guardian angel.
Yeah, like a guardian angel or something. But she I remember her telling me the story actually when you were talking about being in the car. So she had that. I can't remember the conversation I had with her. I remember she just telling me, and I remember her sort of questioning her because, like I was saying before, like I'm very science based, and I'm like, tell me the facts, like what was happening, where was you going, And I remember questioning her, and she was like, look, it was this. She goes, I'm telling you, it was this. I felt a slap, and it was a good, positive. Pick yourself up. You're about to. Do you know what I mean? Something bad's about to happen. Type slap.
Yeah.
And that sort of woke her up, and she got back home, and she didn't fall asleep again after that.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Yeah,
Okay.
no worries, mate.
All right, sorry, I was trying to not interrupt to just say.
It's all right. I was kind of finished anyway. It's cool, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, I've had that where I've been like, felt someone prodding on my back, or you're like a tapping, and I've turned around and there's been no one there.
And what type of situation was it? Was it like where you were?
I used to work for I won't name the department store, but I used to work in the food part of it.
Okay.
And I used to have to go down. Basically, my job was walk across the shop floor, had an headset on. So one of the operations guys was downstairs, and I'd do one side of the food all the way to the other side of the food, and all the baskets and different displays around the store. So I'd say from 4 o'clock to the time we shut up, what we needed, and guess roughly how many we're going to sell between now and then. They'd get it ready in cages, and then it'd come upstairs. So all the stock was in the basement.
Yeah.
So anyway, obviously I didn't get it right, because how are you going to know who's going to buy what in the next 3-4 hours? Yeah, or if there was gaps on the shelves, or we didn't have the stock in to put there, I'd have to find something else that is a good seller to fill the gap.
To fill it up, make it up, yeah.
So I used to have to go down into the basement. Hate going down there. It was awful. A few times, and I'd be getting stuff off the shelf, and I just feel a proper hard tap on my back. I thought I'd walked in, like, banged it on the shelving or something. Definitely didn't happen. And there's another time I was down there, and all the lights in the whole store are on sensors. So if you're walking towards the lights are going to come on, move away from you. Yeah. So there's stairs at one end and a lift down the other. So I come down in the lift because I had cages and that. I started walking, and the lights started coming on towards me. I turned around and got back in the lift.
What?
No,
What?
it's not hanging about. And
because they were obviously the lights would illuminate.
Lights.
The lights would illuminate as you're walking.
18 lights. There's 18 rows. So from that end to that end, there's 18. And it just went boom. And you'll hear it click on. Going, and it's watching come on towards me. Goosebumps. I'm like, no, not a chance.
Mate.
Straight back in that lift and straight back up. I said to him, I ain't going down there again. I told him, some of them were laughing. I went, you go down on your own. And I was chatting to one lad, and apparently he had a box of Weetabix thrown at him, and he wouldn't go down again. And that was during the day. He didn't work evenings.
Is it always dark down there then, essentially?
Yeah. You've got a freezer down there, you've got a fridge down there, then you've got all the... It's just food and... Mainly food, like shop fittings and all that kind of stuff. Like all display stands and all that, like storage point. So you got stairs at the very end, and you got the lift. But I've been down there, and I could hear a woman singing. You're like, you'd hear like proper like holding bits. I'll tell you what I did. I come out of there. There's 3 floors in this department store, 4 including the basement. I went up to each floor to see if there was, because they had a twilight shift. Yeah. So on the clothing and home care and all that, they'd work till like midnight, 1 o'clock. Food, frozen and chilled, they'd work. That'd be 24 hours. That'd never close. So I went up to each floor to see if they had any music playing, and it was echoing through the pipes or something. Nothing.
And was there a tannoy system or anything like that at all to alert people?
There's no one in that. I had a look in that room, because I used to have to go and get a phone and a headset each day. So I was authorised to go in there. You couldn't just walk into this room. Yeah. And I could hear. It's like you could hear like she weren't singing, but like humming and singing. You like sound like when you're not sure of the words. So when they don't know the words, it was like that, and it's very, very faint.
Can you remember the sort of tune that she was singing?
It was something like like World War One sort of style music.
Like 19,
And I had a
something
couple
like
of
1920s kind of vibes.
Yeah, I dragged 2 other people down. They weren't like, I'm not coming down. You're coming down. Tell me if you can hear this. And they heard it and they virtually ran off. Yeah, cheers, mate. Honestly. I got back up and went, now you know I don't like going down there. So I've had tapping on the back, singing, lights coming on towards me on the sensors.
You've had enough experiences. Maybe
when I went seeing this clairvoyant, she said that I draw energy towards me, and it's not always good. But yeah, cheers for that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
What?
Just don't tell me stuff like that. So I forgot about that one, but because of what you were saying, that's what I mean. Even now, after I thought I've told everything that's ever happened to me, I'm thinking of more and more. Like every other day, I have to write everything down.
Yeah, I think you need to, mate. I think you need to, because there's obviously stuff like this can't keep happening without there being like no smoke, no fire, no smoke, or whatever it is. Why can't I think of that idiom? No smoke without fire. But yeah, so
I knew what you meant.
Yeah,
it's like when I lived in Milton Keynes, my mate had his own house. He used to house share, and when I first moved in, it was a 3-story flat.
Right.
Oh, you know where John Lewis and all that is?
Yes.
The nicer part. So you got Conyburn and all that. That's where I lived. So second floor, front of the house. You lay in bed. The way I had the bedroom, so the window was behind me, full length of the wall.
My
bed was to the right, and then the door, then across the landing. So right outside my door to the left was a bathroom. The other side of the landing was a room where his brother lived.
Right.
Below me was my mate's where his room. Opposite him was where his daughter lived. Below her was the kitchen, and below the guy who owned the house was a converted carport. And there's people in each one. I kid you not, right? Oh, someone shouted, Andy! Didn't recognise the voice, couldn't give an accent to it, nothing. Shot up in bed, sat up straight. As I looked at the clock, it went from 0259 to 0300, which is called the Devil's Hour or the Witching Hour. As I looked at the clock...
What hour was that?
3 o'clock in the morning.
Is that what it is? Is that the time?
Yeah, that's the witching hour. And that's when they shouted me and I sat up. As I looked at the clock, it was only a couple of seconds. It switched to 3 o'clock in the morning.
It flicks over.
I'm like, hello? Hello? Like, nothing. There's no one about. I looked through the keyhole. There's a lock on the inside. No lights were on, nothing. I thought, I ain't opening the door. Not a chance.
And it weren't anybody from like downstairs in the carport or anything like that?
I spoke to all of them. When anyone shouted my name at about 3 o'clock this morning, I'm like, no. It was all. Everyone worked, everyone was up early. It was a weekday. Everyone was up and out by 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Yeah. I mean,
So
doesn't that annoy you?
It's going to be awake at 3. Hey?
Don't that annoy you though, getting woke up at that time? Because I mean, it annoys me, right? It annoys me. You know, you go to bed and you wake up at literally something wakes you up at it's like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but someone shouting your name.
How can I go back to sleep now?
Yeah, but someone shouting your name at bang on 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you're in a room on your own, and then you ask everyone the next day, and nobody's like, don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Yeah, that's totally random.
Their mind ain't probably like how yours works, Andy. Do you know what I mean? They probably like believers or if you've got a genuine interest in that sort of subject, it's I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like that happened.
You draw energy, don't you? It's like law of attraction, isn't it? Like I think we touched on that last time, didn't we?
Yeah, that happened either 2 or 3 times. twice in that room, and then same sort of thing you saying about Tyler's mum. When someone moves out, they go to the next best room, so everyone would rotate other than him and his brother.
Yeah.
So you go to the better room and then the better room. So it was like that, and it didn't happen. It happened on the second floor. It didn't happen when I was in the carport, but when I moved into the middle room opposite the landlord, it happened again there. And I was above the kitchen, and you know who's making what noise. You get used to the sounds of the house and everyone, and the times are awake and all that. And it wasn't any of them. Luckily, I didn't stay there too much longer after that.
Yeah, that's.
Becky and moved in together.
How old was the building?
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
So Milton Keynes was built in the 70s.
Yeah, so pretty new development, isn't it?
Something must have happened there though. Then first back there.
There's a lot of mounds in Milton Keynes. It's a medieval. There's a lot of medieval towns and villages and a lot of abbeys and that round there. Because if you go onto Silbury, Midsummer Boulevard.
Yeah.
So you've got the new bit and you've got the shops. If you look right the way down to Campbell Park, where that white pointed pyramid thing is, apparently on Midsummer's Day, the sun, there's a gap between the shopping centre, all the way down there, you can see the sun in a perfect line.
Oh, what? Just actually what? Like setting in that on that street, essentially.
On that strip, all the way down to the point where they built that thing in Campbell Park.
Yeah, because I know Campbell Park quite well actually. I've taken a couple of pictures out of it.
Is that where they play football?
I think you could do. There's like a bit of an amphitheatre there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, they do. They used to have festivals and that there. You got the cricket pitch down at the bottom, then you've got the Grand Union Canal right at the very bottom of it.
And then you've got all those little like the bits that you can sort of go and stand on. It's like some sort of star chart, but it's not a star chart with all the different bits on there. Yeah,
because I used to go cycling around there, and one of my profile pictures is me on my bike and my foot on one of them little pillar things.
I've got one of those on my Instagram as well, where I'm standing on there doing the Usain Bolt on one of the on one of the I think it's the summer solstice. I don't know what it's called, but
it used to be a fountain, that didn't it?
I don't know. I never actually went up there until that bit was done. So
right.
Before.
Well, I lived there. 9 years in total. So I used to go up there quite a lot. So yeah, it used to be a fountain, but it never worked. So they just got rid of it and built all that.
Fair.
Go on, Ryan.
Don't you think, obviously, okay, like with Milton Keynes being like built in the 70s, don't you think it's a possibility that the developers at the time could have been dealing in the wrong places and some very ancient places that possibly forgotten?
I said, I know.
For this to happen.
Yeah, parts of it is medieval. There's a lot of mounds in that. But you've
Yeah.
got the original parts of Milton Keynes. So you've got West Bletchley, Stony Stratford, Newport Pagnell. You've got Milton Keynes Village. And then you got like is it Wavendon?
Wavendon? I don't know which one.
Lavendon's one near Olney. It's Wavendon.
That's right.
Yeah. Going out towards Bedford. And then the older parts, like let's say Stony Stratford and Old Stony. Then
is old cobble stones?
Not around there, no. Stony Stratford Market Square is where the Crown Pub is. That is. But
there's bits in Wolverton that are sort of like that as well. Like there's quite a few old buildings in Wolverton.
Yeah, you got the old terraced houses, haven't you? Like Victoria Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, I don't know. I've got no explanation for that one. I mean, obviously, you could think it could have been someone random, but saying your name at that time.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't impressed. But going back to when I worked at that department store, that was the reason I left.
Yeah,
I
there's
just,
too much stuff going on
I
there.
just had to find another job. I loved
Tap,
the job. The job he had was
Yeah.
an amazing job, but I just couldn't handle going down into the basement.
yeah, taps on the shoulder. I probably would have been like, "Yo, what's going on? Who's down here? Who's messing
That
around?
happened a few times.
Somebody throwing box of Weetabix at
Yeah.
somebody, like, or getting hit with a box of Weetabix when there was nobody else down
Yeah,
there.
see, I wasn't there, so I don't know. I'm just going. He wouldn't. No reason to lie about it.
Yeah, that's just nuts, isn't it? That is nuts.
It's
And
like,
then
right, I just started looking for another job straight away. Luckily, I got one within a couple of weeks.
I don't think I've ever worked at any place where I felt like it was haunted or spooky or just
Oh, I have.
weird
Have
energy.
you?
Where have you worked then? It's like that.
Oh, mate, some of the places where I've been. One of them was like a couple of years ago. It was one of the last sort of jobs that I worked on when I was subbing that to the guy that taught me my trade, basically. It was on this house was sort of in the middle of nowhere. It was whose house it was. They lived in London. It was sort of their rural countryside retreat, sort of. But it was massive.
Right.
I got my brother-in-law a job there as a labourer on there at the time, and basically, how it all started was he knew I was into all this stuff anyway. So I was, because I'm a bricklayer, I was sort of put on like predominantly anything masonry that had to be done, that kind of thing. So there was a couple of different workers working in there. My brother-in-law come up to me and it's like, mate, he goes, you're never going to guess what's happened. Because that door has just moved right in front of me. And he goes, have you been down the cellar yet? And this is on the first day. This is on like when I first started on my first day, because he's been there a few times before, like a few weeks prior to me. So I'm thinking, no, mate. I said, all right, but I still yet to scope the building out. It was like really like dead posh. We were doing a lot of work, and basically walk through this door. Apparently, this is the one that sort of moved. Walked along, and it comes to the basement. As you got to the basement bit, you walk down, and as soon as I was walking down them stairs, like the stairs going into the basement, I had that feeling like, yeah, something's here. Something is here. I can't see something because I don't think I can see them. I just think I can feel them, and something's around. But it's either that something's around or something bad has happened down there. 'Cause it seemed a bit of a, I don't know.
That's correct.
But yeah, basically, when I got down the bottom of the stairs with that feeling, I then got to the bottom, and there's the door. Open the door, and it opened up into like a mini nightclub in the basement. Then it had bifold doors at the end, opened up to a big patio of like fire pits, and then you've obviously got the really rural parts of where I live. This is like, where would it be? Because I'm sort of north Leicestershire. This would have been south. So you're looking at like where it was sort of Tugby Hall. So on the A47, not for like towards. Do you know what I mean? From left,
Right.
it's sort of in the middle. It
So
was
you just
literally it took a mile up a dirt track to get there.
Yeah. So you just felt there was something there, but you didn't see anything.
Instantly.
Hey?
Because I got to the stairs at the basement, instantly energy was well off.
Ryan,
Yeah.
you keep freezing.
Do I?
Yeah.
So I've just had a malfunction.
Yeah, I just watch your room spin round.
It's not me, mate.
All right. Technology.
My technology right now is a paperclip holding this selfie stick together.
It's all right. I'm borrowing a laptop for this.
I'm just gonna have to hold it.
Yeah.
So what did you see or hear the door move or anything, Ryan?
Well, what we did is that night, I said, right, let's put this to the test. Bear in mind, there's no client in there. There's no one's going in there. It's just as builders there. We're there. You know, it's a massive project. There for a long time. And basically, I says, we're going to shut that door tonight. We're going to shut that. That's the last thing we do. Everywhere gets shut off. Everywhere, all the other doors and that's open on the, shut them first. So when you, obviously, if there is any sort of like bit of pressure built up anyway, it could obviously lift the latch or something on the door. I've known that to sort of happen before. Basically, that was the last door before we sort of locked the front door. We kept it shut. Went home for the evening. Come back next day. It's open. This door is open, and I looked to my mate, and I was like, then I was like, yeah, I was like, and every time you get in that basement, it was the same feeling. But you'd feel something's watching you. Even when we had the fire pit out in the garden, when we was taking all the wood that needed to be burnt or anything that needed to be burnt, even in the woods, you felt there was something there. So it was just weird. It was just like really.
That is weird. Obviously, you like actually tested it.
But if you was actually, I didn't get any pictures or videos of the place. But if I showed you pictures of where it was located, for me was a biggie. It was literally in the middle of nowhere. I mean, just hills, forests, like a proper. You wouldn't even think it was England.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? It was like that. Bit
proper
like
palatial mansion out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, if you're saying that they had a, this cellar. I mean, I'm in the cellar, but my cellar's tiny. So this sounds like it was obviously.
No, this weren't tiny. This was like probably the size of easily size of my sort of footprint on downstairs in my house that I'm renting now.
Yeah.
So, but what it was it went down the stairs, opened up, and there's like this had like its own bar, 2 poles. Then it had like doors, like traditional wooden doors that out. That's what I thought. So maybe who owned it? It was like obviously absolutely from London. Obviously must have had a decent job. Just come up here for a bit of a retreat. So you could, who knows what happened up there? But you just had that really bad feeling. Something around. It was something to do with that part of the house.
Yeah. You just reminded me of something.
But we was upstairs knocking some walls out, and was structural walls. We put some steels in.
Yeah.
We did hear knocks and that, but we just thought, it could, we didn't really, you don't really think of it at the time because we're sort of banging around. So it's like, is there someone above working or?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Someone else doing some work.
You know what I mean? We didn't really sort of look into that a bit more, but what it was because obviously they had other lads there on the job, preparing me for to do my bit basically, and it was just a weird. That's the only sort of that was the only really paranormal stuff that's really happened.
Yeah, you just reminded me of one more that I had. On this,
they just keep coming, don't they? It's just when you obviously when somebody starts telling the story, you're just like, oh my god, yeah.
Do you want me to tell you this one?
Andy is the encyclopedia of unknown.
What you don't know
ain't worth knowing.
Yeah. I'll tell you this one, then we'll jump back with Danny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do it as quick as I can because we're hitting time at the minute. So another job that I used to have, I've had a few jobs. We used to tin up council houses. So when people moved out or got evicted and that, we put tins up on the windows and the doors. Anyway, there's one particular house in Salford. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, we kept getting called because they were saying that there's noises going on inside and people were breaking in. So we gone round this during the day. So we gone round this one that is number 13 as well.
Oh
Just
my
let you know
god.
this. So we gone round, right,
Mhm.
and we have the report of what's going on, but all the other reports are there as well. So we gone in. It's like a steel door, and it's like double key. We gone in. Everything was secure. There's no way no one was getting in or out. So we don't know what is going on about. The boiler had been ripped out. The sink had been smashed, and the banister had been snapped. Now this has happened about 3 or 4 times.
Right.
We was then reading the report about this house. Someone had been murdered in the house. He'd had his head smashed through the sink and then thrown downstairs. Right? The 2 main things that were broke during the murder was the sink and the banister.
Shut up.
It was the report was saying about all the cleaning agents that they used to. You could still see the blood on the floor, and this had happened about. I said about 4, but it's more like 5 or 6 times. It was the first time we went, and they said people were getting in, but no one was getting in. The boiler pipes had been ripped. Part of the sink, like someone had smashed them up through it, and the bottom half of the banister was on the floor, and no one had been in.
That's mad.
And the exact things that were broken was what was broke during the murder. I said, I ain't never going in that. I'll sit in the van next time. Don't care.
Yeah,
Sack
I'm
me.
good.
I'm not bothered.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mind blown. Oh my god.
That
Did you feel anything in there?
I just wanted to get out. Couldn't get out quick enough. Was in there. Felt like a lifetime. Probably in there 10 minutes. Because we had to do a report on what we had to check every. Because all the windows have steel. They have a steel bar and a ratchet or a giant bolt with a big screw on the end. They're all tight. They're all tightened from the inside, so you can't get to it from the outside at all unless you pull bricks out. The door is right up against the frame. Ratchets, bars going across, all ratchet straps. No way you can do it from the outside, and then it's big, thick, proper key, big Yale key. Nothing. We went round and checked every single one. Oh, there's 3 of us. Nothing had been moved. Nothing was even loose. Even kicking it didn't loosen it. And the 3 things that were damaged were the same things that were getting damaged every time. And the same things that happened in this murder.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah, that's what I was doing. And that's straight back to the van.
Either spirit of that must be going back there as sort of
It's
unfinished
residual,
business.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Is that what
repeating
you'd class residual then? I don't know.
But there was no new blood. So where the sink had been smashed, the bit was on the floor. Where the banister had been snapped, and it was to a point. Like you could stick it in someone, put it that way, like a javelin. And that was there. Nothing had been. What things had been broke was still there, and there's no evidence of anyone with an hammer. There's no hammer marks. There's no footprints on anything.
So what you're saying,
no
the ghost murdered someone.
On the floor. There was no bricks. So do you know when you smash them up with a brick, some ceramic, they'll leave a bit of brick dust. Nothing like that on there. Don't know what it was. Didn't want to know what it was, if I'm honest with you. I had a feeling what it could be, and that was enough. But there's never anyone there. But the neighbours said they could hear people inside. And
the neighbours said they could hear people inside.
Yeah.
Getting murdered.
That's where. So the reports would go to the council. We was the third party to go around and like work alongside the council. So we'd go out and check it. Some of the properties have alarms on, so a couple of lads were on call, so if the alarm went off, they'd have to drive out there and check what was going on.
Mm.
But I don't think this. I don't. Yeah, no, they was all alarmed. This one had the alarm had gone off from this at night, but there was never anybody there.
So the neighbours heard.
They could hear movement. No one shouting, just like walking and banging about and all that.
What, on the murder?
No, inside the house. This is afterwards.
Yes, the house is obviously derelict, boarded up.
Yeah.
Right, okay, now I'm with you,
This is weeks, months later, and they kept reporting, saying there's stuff going on.
There's someone's an extremely annoyed spirit.
Well, I don't know. I don't. That's one thing I don't want to know. I
think that's what it is. I think they've come back and they mean business this time. They are mad.
That was a bad.
Maybe it links up with, like, you know, that whole Tyler story, because it's almost like residual energy, like things, like an echo of things happening, or because I don't know who's like what. I'm sure there have been some scientific, like, you know, scientists that have gone out to try and measure all of this stuff, but how would you go about measuring it? Like, how would you go about?
No idea.
So it's just, maybe it is some kind of just sort of residual reflection, maybe, of something that's happened. Because obviously, if that person got murdered in there, that's some emotions that.
Yeah,
you know,
he's still
murdering somebody. That's a lot of energy that's going to be expelled in it. And I always say that the energy that's there every bit of energy that's in the universe has already been there. Like, everything it goes somewhere else, but it'll go somewhere else. So who's to say? Like, it could actually be.
What about that Tom Cruise film, Live, Die, Repeat? Is it? What if it's like that?
Oh, I do remember that movie, actually. Yeah, where he's living that same day over and over and over and over again, essentially.
Yeah, but when he died, he like woke back up, didn't he? He was like doing the same thing again. He was like live, die, repeat. Maybe when we pop our clogs, who's saying that we don't wake up? You know, like what I find weird is I don't know if you're the same, is people that I'm a family or that are really close to. I feel like this ain't the only sort of life that they was my family. I think, like, if that makes sense.
They're here,
even in previous lives, they were the relatives
souls.
then. Yeah, are you with me?
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying.
Even mates, like new people that you meet and like you become good mates. Even them, it's like energy brings. You know what I mean? I believe in things happen for a reason.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally. Maybe then, like, you know, with the afterlife. Obviously, we're just speculating here. You know, talking about science and, you know, dark matter. And, you know, obviously, like, there's new equations that come out this week. Not new equations, but new particles, new theoretical particles that we're looking for this week. Something to do with fermions, like the particles. Who's to say that when, you know, we do pass, that, you know, the other dimension or the other realm is the other realm that we're actually already experiencing? It's just the fifth part or the fourth part that we can't see. So obviously the universe is made up of lots of antimatter and dark matter. Who's to say that those things aren't part of, you know, the ghostly experiences and the echoes that are there?
Yeah,
because we can't explain that.
No, the crossover of dimensions. Oh, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, most people's mindset is locked in the third density.
Well, that's all we know, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but there's more densities.
Yeah.
Open your mind to get, and
they reckon
densities, obviously, you know what I mean. It's
they think that they found up to 7.
There's 12 densities in total, mate. And this is
I read something about there's definitely 7.
Yeah, no, I've heard
7 dimensions.
37.
7.
7. Yeah, well, no, there's more than that.
No, I read something the other day saying that they definitely can tell you that there's 7.
Yeah, they could tell you there's 7. I've read years ago that there's up to 11 dimensions, and there's
I was
one
going to say,
particular
like,
race
I've
in the
heard 11
universe
as a
that is
number.
there.
Right.
Yeah, 11 dimensions. And this is where it goes like. This is where it's like becomes like a galactic thing. Apparently, there's races out there that they could just take us out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But
If you
they're
want
like,
to, they'll do it.
they know our future before. It's like that. When they get to that density, apparently they can, what they think or what they want, they can just manifest it just like that.
Could you imagine having those kind of powers? That'd be mad.
That'd be great.
Imagine, want a beer, please. Bang, just there. It's like, or you want to go on for just whatever you wanted to do, you can just sort of go ask the question, and he's sort of there. It's like bang, bang. You can read people's minds. I think that's. But they're one of the reptilian races, and they're like. There's a guy who I used to listen to this sort of stuff from, a lot of his podcasts and his videos. It's called Alex Collier, and he talks about that he's like one of 4 people around the world that's contacted by a race and gets obviously told knowledge, and this, seems quite credible.
Yeah. Mm.
And he talks about these different races.
Cool.
So then that talks
I'll have to
about
look into that.
David Icke, David Icke. Person.
Yeah.
Then that makes you think, well, maybe is that the same species that he's sort of talking about? That and then then before you know it, you're getting in all right down the rabbit hole, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The more questions you ask, further down the rabbit hole you go.
Yeah,
that's just how it is. There's no. You don't ask, you don't go down it. Yeah. So Danny,
take the red pill, take the blue pill.
Yeah.
Well, which one did you have, Andy?
I had both. Wasn't sure.
Well, I'm pretty sure the red one's where you just like go for it. Is that the one, or is that the blue one? The blue one's the more chilled out one, wasn't it?
I don't know. It's 50-50. One of them. I'll take the
truth.
The Matrix is a brilliant film, isn't it? Brilliant film.
But the pills are, one is a truth, one you carry on living in the simulation that you're in. I'd take the truth.
Oh yeah, 100%. I wouldn't want to.
What's that? Is that the blue one?
I don't know. That's irrelevant. It don't matter what colour it is, but whatever colour it was, I'd take the truth.
Yeah, I'd take the truth. Even if it meant.
I'm a truth seeker. That's what I class myself as.
Yeah, even if it meant sacrificing, the life that you had before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd want to know. Definitely want to know what's going on.
You never know. This could all just be, it's like Plato's allegory of the cave. We could all just be experiencing. You guys could just be props in my movie, essentially, and I could be one in yours, or this could all just be.
We're a computer game called Life.
Yeah, Sims.
A big biological, it could be The Sims, couldn't it?
That film with Jim Carrey, Truman Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know. The thing is, we don't know until we find out.
I don't know if we're ever going to find out.
If you're getting spiritual, then obviously you got to get deep in scripture.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff that's in scriptures, we're sort of living in them days now. If you into that sort of thing.
Yeah. Never really.
I think like it went to another cataclysm. Something's going to wipe us out.
Yeah, but that can happen at any time.
Stop again.
The amount of meteors and all that passing Earth.
That's what needs to happen. I mean, it does.
Yeah.
Too much is happening on. That's the way I look at the world. It's mental. Look at all this COVID.
I know.
I mean, can't people just stay in? And
you'd think.
No, but you get mixed messages, don't you? It's like,
Now that you found us on our podcast, why don't you come and join us on Facebook? Like, join, follow, post, share, and hopefully enjoy.
And go on to our YouTube channel called Codes of the Unknown. Like, subscribe, and ring the notifications bell.
Now that you've
Straight off the top of my head. But yeah,
Go on, sorry.
yeah, no, just yeah. So if I can think of anything, obviously, I'm more than happy to come back on the show.
Cool. So that's it. So that's this week's podcast done then.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, guys. Appreciate that.
No worries.
No worries.
Welcome back anytime. So thank you, listeners, for listening, and we'll speak. Oh, you'll hear us all soon. We'll speak to you soon, unless you comment. Yeah. So
like, comment, and subscribe, innit?
Yeah. So follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. All Codes of the Unknown. Anyone got any stories? You can email us at codesoftheunknown@gmail.com or codesoftheparanormal@gmail.com. Or if you know of somebody else that's had an encounter and doesn't want to speak on their behalf. So it's all up to you. So we'll see you at the next podcast. Bye-bye.